Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Rishabh Gulati. Lockdown or no lockdown, less hospitalizations or not, the bottom line is Omicron is here. The third wave of COVID has begun in large parts of the country. Now, the big question is, as thousands of people per day start falling sick, what is the symptom? We were told an X list when this began in 2020. That list changed for Delta, where we were told that, okay, a part of it might be a stomach upset and other issues. So what's the difference from Omicron? Let's have that conversation. Dr. Eashav Gilada is with us, Dr. Mohsin Wali, Dr. PSV Rao and Dr. Anil Arora, all joining us on the broadcast. Let me quickly kick this off with Dr. Wali. Dr. Wali, for Omicron, which I'm assuming in Delhi, for example, is already the dominant strain, what are the symptoms you need to watch out for? How are they different from Delta, sir?
Yes, this is of utmost importance for everyone who is watching today's program, and everybody is curious to know how can I differentiate from Delta and whether I am having Omicron without getting a test clinically. How do we know? Because a lot of cumbersome tests are required. So basically what this SARS-CoV-2 virus, the basis of is this has a one non-structural protein which is called NSP14, and that is able to mitigate through various symptoms, mutations and attachments. So this is basically that protein which is responsible, gives a virus the capability of changing its attachments and accordingly the symptoms. So by and large what we were hearing, that risk of death, this is number one concern in the people. Risk of death is fewer. Fewer means less deaths. And when we were taught English, we were told few means none. I don't know what fewer deaths applies here. Now, younger age patients are more involved in this variant Omicron. Age range, which is statistically quoted by South African studies, is 36 to 59, more so with females. Now, when we come to the symptoms, this is weariness, joint pain, common cold-like picture and headache. And top of that, the exhaustion, body exhaustion, one feels tired, and that should be the principal symptom according to me. If you feel undue tiredness, unexplainable due to other causes, and unexplainable by the exertion done in the past 2-3 days, then think about it. And loss of taste and smell, classically told with, as you mentioned also, and diarrhea could be common in both, but loss of taste and smell, scientifically not involving the nerves of olfaction and nerves of taste.
Okay, but is that happening in this is what I'm just trying to disambiguate on this. Yeah, Dr. Rao, jump in on this. What's the difference? Because earlier the first thing was fever, sore throat, loss of taste and smell were the symptoms for the native virus. For Delta, we added on that you might have bowel symptoms or stomach related ailments added to this. How is Omicron different? So what should you watch out for?
See, what was originally unique about this the SARS-2 virus, the COVID-19 virus, was that it was causing loss of taste and sense and smell. This was unique to that. This was not part of all the other general symptoms which can be seen from various other infections also. Whereas with Omicron, the reports are that the people are not showing that particular symptom. The other major difference between Omicron and the previous variants is that this seems to be more limited to the upper respiratory tract. That means the tubes which the nose, and the airway passage up to the lungs, but not involving the lungs very much. And a Hong Kong study has clearly showed that whereas this particular variant multiplies 70 times faster in the upper airways, it is 10 times slower than the other variants in the lungs.
Okay.
So the breathing difficulty and other related to the lungs, that we are seeing is not being seen here.
Okay.
You are getting headache, you are getting running nose, you are getting body ache, and you are getting the usual things. And this is why there is more confusion with the symptoms of influenza and other influenza-like viruses.
I'm trying to reduce the confusion between Delta, which is not over. Okay, there's still some people in the country who are going to get Delta, and in some places where Omicron is going to become 90-95% very, very rapidly. I'm sure Delhi and Bombay are headed there. Dr. Arora, what primarily from the information we are seeing from South Africa, UK, US, what are the primary different symptoms that one should watch out for this time, for this variant?
Yeah, Rishabh, I think the major difference between the two is since it is primarily localized in the nasopharynx, upper respiratory tract and bronchi, and not reaching frequently deep enough into the alveoli. So primarily the symptom complex lies in the sore throat, fever, myalgias, and a spatial feeling of stickiness in the throat. But my only worry is, why don't we have our own data? Why is it that, as so-called developing or almost developed countries, why don't we have our own national health system which can look at it? All of us are quoting the data emerging from South Africa.
Okay, so what
UK,
are you saying?
US.
Are you saying that now we need to develop an Omicron symptoms list and needs to be pushed out by...
Absolutely. If we have an integrated health system, we should be talking of our own symptomatology. Is it different from what we are quoting from all over the world? But since it is, in terms of penetration into the body and the deeper down into the lungs and the alveoli, with the upper respiratory tract, symptoms are more confined to the upper respiratory tract, including stickiness in the throat, which is peculiarly reported with this, and soreness in the throat, in addition to the common system. In fact, if you go by the clinical symptomatology, it is very difficult to distinguish between Delta, Omicron, influenza, or the common cold.
Okay.
There is no.
Okay. So let me be realistic then. Dr. Gilada, at some point of time, very, very rapidly approaching, I'll just take the example of Delhi because the figures I remember. We can't increase testing from Delhi. Delhi already has a large number of tests per day. We do about 80,000 tests per day in Delhi, just the city. That can't become 160,000 overnight or 220,000 the week after. So you can maybe take 80 to a lakh. That's about it. So after a point, the testing capacity will be limited. Confirming Omicron until we do the S-gene RT-PCR test or gene sequencing, even more difficult. So at what point of time do we have to rely on symptoms alone, and people who don't get or can't get tested, as what's happened in the US and Canada right now, have to assume that they've got Omicron?
See, as of now, you don't go by official data of testing. There are a lot of people who are having kits which are rapid antigen tests, which are available on all the portals. They're getting the kit, doing the test, and all of them are coming positive. So earlier, rapid antigen test was positive in even COVID patient, 30 to 40% positivity, 60% false negativity. RT-PCR was 70% positivity, 30% false negativity. Current wave which shows that rapid antigen test positive is positive.
Yeah.
Secondly, the incubation period between one to another person infection is just 1 to 2 days. Earlier it was 3 to 5 days. So within a week's time, everybody in the family comes and gets infection, go away. Thirdly, a lot of people when they call, one of them is tested. We ourselves don't test other. There is no need of testing because a lot of times micro containment zone outside the board is put. A lot of stigmatization is carried out, and people want to stay at home and they don't want to be reported anywhere. And that will happen whether I tell or I don't tell. With rapid antigen test, half of the people are getting a rapid antigen test are done. Now, rapid antigen test is not associated, not linked with any of the national data. Though initially when they launch, with ICMR permission, they said that it will have some kind of mechanism by which you have a photograph, it will reach the company will send to ICMR. I don't think it is happening. Lastly...
but that's voluntary. Yeah, finish your thought.
And lastly, there is no need of any kind of Omicron-related testing now because this week, the forthcoming week, it will completely replace Delta. Secondly, if India was reporting 6,000 cases earlier, just a week before, and now reporting almost 27,000 cases, all this 21,000 gap is only and only Omicron. There's nothing Delta.
Yeah, so I'll give you the example. Delhi was reporting 40 to 50 cases 10 days ago and is now reporting, I'm assuming, more than 3,000 today. So you are saying that the remaining 9,000, 22,900 are mostly Omicron.
All are Omicron. And even Delhi study shows that their gene sequencing shows 50% cases. That was last
the gene
week.
sequencing is, by the time you get your gene sequencing report,
3 days, 5 days,
you are already okay.
Yeah.
5 days have elapsed.
So sometimes people are happy-go-lucky saying that in Maharashtra only 4 people, four tests came positive, because it is report will come only after 3 to 5 days. Suddenly 400, 500 will be added tomorrow.
Yeah.
So don't go by
it's going to happen
cases.
very quickly. So okay. So now for people at home, then Dr. Wali, then this boils down to the question for people at home. Okay. All of us regularly, once or twice a year, generally get the sniffles, get a cold, get a cough, sometimes get fever. For people at home, should they, if it happens right now in the next 2-3 weeks, should they assume it's Omicron?
By way of exclusion, you see, Delta would have taken them to the hospital. Now the people who are going to the hospital are going because of insurance reason. And I would here add to that we should have a vaccine called influenza vaccine. People of my age, not your age especially, but of my age
Yeah,
especially.
I've had mine, sir. So yeah, I'm with
If
you.
you
on
had
that.
it, yes, because it is recommended at a younger age also. So take this flu shot, and that saves to you from having a seasonal influenza. This is covered in the available vaccine 2022. So this is a precaution. I'm just mentioning, I'm not, you see, saying that this will save you from Omicron. No, it will not.
No, it won't. Yeah,
So,
obviously.
yes. So one should be very clear that please isolate yourself, wear mask, and gargle. Now I will stress on gargle because my colleague sir has just now emphasized, Dr. Neloro has emphasized on sore throat, peculiar stickiness. Yes, that is there. I've been seeing this. So gargle, wash your nose, wash your hands, and wear mask and wait for the best outcomes. We are hoping a positive outcome in the near future because deaths are not increasing. The deaths which are happening abroad is because of their lackadaisical attitude. They did not treat their Delta cases efficiently.
Yeah.
They
So
did
the
not
deaths are basically
listen.
happening in the
Yes,
US, not
yes.
necessarily in the UK so much.
Yes.
And the
And
US
that
is mostly
may
the
not,
same because of
that
Delta.
may not happen in India. Luckily, I'm just with the crossed fingers, I'm saying.
Okay.
It may
So yeah,
not
fingers
happen.
crossed. So now I'm just saying that at some point of time, it happened during Delta also. It's already happened in the US where they've run out of test kits. Okay. It's happening in Canada. Testing is taking 5 or 6 days. We've seen it happen even in Delhi, but testing results were taking 5-6 days to return. Omicron, 6 days to return a test means you're either through it or you're in trouble. 6 days means is one way or the other. It's already happened, right? So by the time you get a confirmation of what you got, most of the disease already passed. So Dr. Arora, in that regard, sir, let's examine these lateral flow, these antigen tests which are available pretty reasonably at chemists and are available online. Can they help?
You see, there are two types of tests which are available. One test, which is RT-PCR, looks at the 3 different genes, N, S, and E. And in a situation like this, if RT-PCR is positive and S test is missing, so this is a clue that the present infection is related to the Omicron virus. So that is just a screening surrogate marker. Then you have a test which is called SGTF, that is a S gene target failure test, which will confirm it. And final confirmation comes by sending it to for genome sequencing. Mind you, this is all for epidemiological purposes.
Yeah.
So far as patient is concerned, so far as the affect and the infection is concerned, it is primarily boils down to the type of symptoms you have, the age at which you are infected, the comorbidities that you have, and the outcome you are going to face. Because there is hardly any change in terms of the therapeutic management.
Okay, so my question is, sir, I mean, if you got a cold and cough right now and you are saying, okay, it's cold and cough, I don't really have much fever, I'm not having loss of taste, my tummy is okay, I'm eating okay. At what point of time do you still have to assume it might be Omicron?
You see, in fact, if you have been in contact with a person who has had a number of contacts with the people who have been infected, number one, anybody who has traveled from abroad with countries who are having a lot of numbers, and if there is a good surge of the patients in and around your own locality, that is the best clue to the fact that it may not be a common cold. So it may be something more than that.
Okay.
So the best way is to do an RT-PCR and be sure. The advantage is
Okay.
if you confirm that is Omicron over and above the common cold, you need to be isolated so that helps you prevent the infection.
Okay, so
going on.
I would suggest if at this stage, if you're in Delhi, Bombay at least, and you have a common cold system, assume the worst and hope for the best. Dr. Rao, are these home test kits which are available pretty now easily? Should everybody have them at home? Should you keep 1 or 2 at home and do the nasal swab yourself?
I don't think we should create a shortage artificial shortage by getting everyone to run for those kits. The WHO recommendation is that if you have, this is a standing recommendation, not something new, that if you have an influenza-like illness, you should check RT-PCR for the various infections which can present like that. This is what they have recommended. I'm not saying that it is possible for each one of us to do that.
Yeah, it's not possible.
And that is separate RT-PCR test for influenza A, influenza B, for para-influenza, adenovirus, rhinovirus, and of course the coronavirus.
Yeah, without getting into all of this, because that our viewers will get lost, Dr. Rao. In the UK, they have a protocol that on day 6 and 7, if you take 2 consecutive antigen tests, they call them lateral flow tests, at home yourself, and both are negative, you're okay. We don't have this kind of protocol, and we will run out of RT-PCR capacity, sir. I mean, it's impossible to.
So I'm coming to that. Now, ICMR has come out about a week, slightly more than a week back, with a kit, rapid test kit, which they say is 100% sensitive, 100% this thing, and that it will pick up specific for it, and it is at a very low cost. They have given it to 2 companies for commercialization, and they had said that within 2 weeks, these kits will be available in the market.
They're not available yet, but they are soon to be available.
Not yet. Yes. So I'm hoping that thing will work out. They have called it a LAMP test, and they have not yet released the finer details of it, but they are saying that this will do the job.
Okay, I'm asking this just practical. Dr. Gilada, okay, eventually our RT-PCR testing facility, if Omicron is less lethal but more infectious, which means more people will get it, we won't be able to confirm. We do maximum 12-13 lakhs RT-PCR a day. In the country. We can't double that overnight. It's not going to happen. 12-13 lakhs is not a small amount, but we can't double it. Do we need a protocol for these antigen home tests to figure out so that people can educate themselves?
Government will have to change with the current times. Whatever you can do, because we are going to have lakhs and lakhs of cases per day. I'm not figuring out, because people will start controversy. But if America can get 6 lakh cases per day, which is 1/5 of population, what is the special immunity that we enjoy? If France can get 2 lakh per 30,000 cases per day, which is 5% of our population, what is the immunity we enjoy extra than France? So we are going to have major problem. So at such time, we should have a kind of systematic protocol. Number 1, whether RT-PCR is required or not. Number 2, RAT can be done at home. And number 3, if in a family of 4 people, if one is positive, all 3 are considered positive. There is no point in doing the test. You sit, even if one is positive, they are all going to sit at home because they are all exposed. Here, exposure is just 1 day required.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, next person has a symptom.
Okay.
And lastly,
So then the more complicated question, sir.
Yeah.
How do I know when I'm cured? Okay. I mean, we are saying it is highly infectious, but it cures faster. So I don't know, am I highly infectious for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days? We don't have data. So when do I say, okay, I had a cold, but now it's been 5 days, I don't have a cold anymore, I can go out, and then you realize you're still infectious. What do we advise people?
This is an excellent question. In public health and private health also. Private health, it comes within a day, goes out in 3 or 4 days. It doesn't take more than 3 days. And in 4 or 5 days, everything is over. RT-PCR will not be negative for at least 2 weeks. So RAT will become negative just in 4 or 5 days. So if you want a negative proof, RAT is enough. If you want a positive proof, then you need RT-PCR, and that is going to create a lot of problem for people, travel, everything. Secondly, your pertinent question in the beginning was, what about lockdown? See, lockdowns are administrative lockdown, medical lockdown. But in this kind of situation, what is going to happen is circuit breaker lockdown. How do you stop the chain of transmission? That time the lockdown was to have a augmenting medical system, facilities, bed, oxygen. Now that lockdown is not required. But what is required now is circuit breaker lockdown.
Well, the unfortunate news to you, Dr. Gulada. I know we've discussed this very shortly a short time ago. It's not happening. The lockdowns are not happening. That in Delhi, which is where the cases are doubling every 2 days, it's doubling exponentially every 2 days. Okay, 50% jump yesterday, and 50% jump is expected in a short couple of hours from now. The logic is the hospitals are empty, so therefore there's no reason for lockdown. And I'm assuming that logic will be applied elsewhere also. That might change when things hit the fan. They did change last time, but I don't know. Okay, Dr. Bali, one is at the beginning. How do we know it's over? How do I know that, okay, I've recovered?
Well, normally people are recovering very fast. There is no fever. Usually it subsides with the tablets they have been given. The doctors which have treated majority of cases in LNJP hospital, they have said categorically that we have not given any special treatment to them, even antibiotics. So it is more a symptomatic feeling by the patient communicated to the doctor that he is feeling better. And I saw at least one patient, I can say she recovered 3 days later and she was fit and fine, test negative, both RT-PCR and strip test.
Okay, that's very lucky. Okay.
So it recovers very fast. This is the best part of this.
Okay, so but that's a question, Dr. Gilada. One is, okay, I'm assuming that I've got a cold and cough. Let's say I assume I'm isolating myself. With a normal cold and cough, as soon as I'm feeling better, I feel confident enough to get back to work and go out. The UK guidelines say day 6 and day 7, 2 at-home tests are good enough for you to confirm a negative. How do you know when you're okay?
See, CDC guideline of USA that says 5 days. They are right from 10 days of quarantine, they bring down to 5 days. When CDC brings guideline, it is all evidence-based. It's not haywire. So basically, at present, we are currently advising after 5 days, you can go back to work, go back out anywhere. And people are feeling better in just 2 or 3 days, but we ask 2 more extra days.
Okay, so what would be the advice? We're waiting for a protocol. So you are saying if you are asymptomatic, after 5 days, you're okay?
5 days from your symptom. So if you had a symptom, you are reporting to me today that you had a symptom for 2 days, you require 3 more days of rest. That's it, 5 days. Total 5 days.
Okay, 5 days, and I'm assuming that your symptoms have stopped. If your symptoms are continuing, then it's probably not Omicron, it might be something else. Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Arora, same question to you. One is making a judgment call of when it starts. Guaranteed, we will not be able to test every single individual who wants a test in the coming weeks, RT-PCR. So how do we know when it ends? Because last time around, the advisory from doctors was that 10 days of Delta is enough. You don't have to get a negative test because that's just wasting a test, because some people had to do 3-4 tests to come negative. 10 days means it's not transmissible anymore, and that's good enough. What should be the logic here?
There is a good scientific data to show the maximum shedding of the virus from an infected person is 2 days before the onset of the symptoms and 3 days after the onset of the symptoms. Based on that and the prospective data collection, CDC has reduced the stay at home after detection of the virus from 10 days to 5 days so that the people can move out. In fact, if you do not develop any complication after that, the chances of your spreading is negligible. So I think 5 days stay after you are having no symptoms at home is good enough. You do not even need to have a PCR for confirmation of that. That has been very well shown by the CDC.
Okay, I'm going to make a public appeal, gentlemen, because we need a protocol on this, right? It does help for people to know that at what stage you should assume you're Omicron positive. Let's say you can't get a test done, or you are afraid of getting a test done. Because, you know, that's exactly what happens, right? If one person tests positive, then you have to assume all 5 are positive. That means that's 5. If you have 5 RT-PCR positives in your house, there'll be a board put outside your house, etc., etc. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, let me avoid testing. It's just a cold. I'll go away in 2-3 days. So these are lots of problems we need to solve, and how does it end is also a protocol required. So we do have hundreds of cases of Omicron confirmed that have now recovered. Okay. So we have some data set to go on. I'm hoping a guideline can be issued very, very readily. But if you're watching this broadcast, if you are in a hotspot where you can see the data yourself, Delhi, Bombay, certainly Omicron hotspots right now. And if you got a sudden cold and cough, assume it's Omicron, assume that at least your immediate family members are exposed. You should isolate. If you can get a test done, get it done. And if you can't get it done, do a home test. Okay. The home test confirms positive. It doesn't confirm negative. So that means if you come positive, you are 100% positive. But if you come negative, it's not sure whether you have it or don't have it. But at least it confirms a positive one way. And once you had it, once your symptoms have become, it's been 5 days and you no longer have fever, cold, cough, anything, assume you're okay. This is the standard guideline right now. I'm hoping it will become protocol very soon. Gentlemen, thank you for having this very useful conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.